There's no going back.
Hello and welcome to day 7 of the 365-day video challenge. Now, in the last couple of days I've had quite a bit of criticism, and it's constructive criticism from a very dear friend of mine who is often sitting behind the camera when I'm videoing and making funny faces at me. She tells me that, do you realize you say the words "for example" very often? I was like, actually she's right, I do. Okay, so I'm going to try and change some things about the way that I speak. For example, the amount of times I say "for example." So you guys, I want you to count. If you hear me say for example in any video, I want you to put the number of times that you've counted it into the comments bar, and let's see if I can stop doing it. For example, no, okay, I'm just kidding now. The other criticism was my husband said to me I speak too quickly. Now, I don't know that I agree with him, because I don't know that a slow speaking voice will be very dynamic to listen to. I will listen to the replay of this particular part of this video and decide for myself if I think it sounds boring or not. But if I'm talking normally and it is pretty quick, then, and if you guys think that I'm talking too quickly for you, then please pop a comment in the comments bar and say, you know, can't hear what you're saying, you're talking too quickly. One of my students always says to me that I get very fired up when I'm talking about art because it's a real passion of mine. And she said, but that's fine, it's fine, because, you know, you can see your passion in the subject. And, well, there's no point in really talking the hind leg of a donkey at breakneck speed if nobody can hear me. So if you're battling to understand what I'm saying, constructive criticism always helps. Now, on the subject of constructive criticism, I want to send a big shout out to Michelle Scott. How do you say her name? Przeski. Michelle, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Michelle sent me a message on one of my videos. I think it was the video where I was showing one of my students how to mix colors, and I had edited just little snippets because it was a 3-hour long lesson, and I'd edited little snippets of it to a 15-minute color lesson, and I had some music playing in the background. I put music in the background because it's really boring to just listen to the noise of the cars in the streets, and every now and again one of my dogs will bark, and so I just give your brain something else to listen to while you're listening to me talking. But the whole idea is that it's not too loud, because it obviously I don't want it to overpower what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is the message. Now, videography is really new to me. I'm an artist, I'm not a videographer, so any feedback on the video quality and the sound and whatever it is, I would really appreciate it. So thank you, Michelle, for that feedback. I really appreciate it. I will endeavor to bring the sound down a little bit more. I know when I'm in my videography software, I can't hear the music as loudly as what it appears to come out on the final edit, which sometimes a video, 15-minute video, can take a whole hour to actually write the video, and it's only after that whole hour and I listen to the actual edited written copy that I realize that the music is too loud. And on that particular one I don't know if I heard it myself and just was too tired, or if I didn't hear it, I'm not sure. But thank you, Michelle, for your feedback. From now onwards I will just bring the music down a notch or two. If there's anything else, people, that you can think of, I would appreciate your feedback. Today, however, I want to talk to you about something that's quite close to my heart in terms of art. I get regular phone calls from people looking for an art teacher. They will either hear of me by word of mouth, or they'll come across a painting, my website possibly. I have something there, but through all these different channels, I might get an artist phoning me up one day and saying, you know, I've really always wanted to learn to paint, but I've got no talent, and I think I might be embarrassing myself. And what I always say to them is, I tell you what, come to the first lesson, no obligation, just pitch up here on a Saturday morning or a Wednesday night or whatever it is that suits you. You let me know when you're coming, of course. Just come to the first lesson, we'll sit and chat, I'll show you a couple of pencil skills, I'll show you what the other artists are doing, and once you've spent some time with us in the studio, then you go away and think about it. And 9 times out of 10, they come back. I have had 1 or 2 that haven't, and it's purely a self-esteem issue. So I want to talk to people specifically who don't believe that they've got enough talent, but really want to do this art thing. I hesitate because I can't say for sure, but I'd say maybe 90% of my students have at some stage of the early stages of their art lesson said to me, but I don't have any talent, I'm just here because it's fun. And then they come up with these amazing, amazing compositions, beautiful, beautiful work. Because why? Number one, release the pressure off yourself. And this is what I always tell, don't be pressurized to be perfect. Don't feel that you have to live up to somebody else's expectations of what you should be as an artist. If you want to call yourself an artist, you have this innate idea of what an artist is, and you don't believe you are that, so you don't call yourself an artist. So if you don't think of yourself as an artist, you possibly won't be an artist. And I often will say to my students, you are an artist. Everybody, I don't care who you are, if you're able to pick up a pencil and draw, you can draw. It's how well you can draw that is actually the question. I believe that there are people that are born with amazing talent that can just pick up a paintbrush and pick up a pencil with very little effort and produce the most beautiful works. There are other people that produce equally beautiful works, but they have to put a lot of hard work into it. And there are other people that consider themselves to be talentless but can learn. I'm a little bit on the fence with this whole nature versus nurture thing. There are people that will tell you you need talent, without talent you'll get nowhere, and there are others that will say as long as you do something long enough you can learn how to do anything, and they use this 10,000. See, there's one of the dogs I was talking about. They'll use this 10,000 hours rule. If you do something for 10,000 hours, it eventually becomes second nature and it turns into talent. I kind of agree with that, because I've seen it. I've seen it happen in my art room. I've seen it happen with people that come in here and profess to not have any talent. Now, either they don't have talent and they've learnt, or they just believe that they didn't have talent but they actually did. So if you have a desire to be an artist, that's the main thing. Whether or not you've got talent either has not been proven yet. Well, I believe that's what I believe. Whether or not you've got talent remains to be proven. Don't worry about whether or not you're talented. Worry about whether or not you want this. How badly do you want it? Do you want it badly enough to sit under the tutelage of other artists, to engage in signing up on an art course and learning your craft? Pace yourself. Take one step at a time. Master one thing, even if it's just pencil skills. Just master your pencil skills, and once you've found that you're doing well with pencil skills and you're able to get nice even gradients, then move on to doing a relatively simple drawing. And I'll say simple in inverted commas because I don't want to offend anybody, but some drawings might be easier for others than other drawings are. And for me, I'm portrait and figurative artist. I really love that particular subject, so I will find portraiture much easier than say somebody who is a landscape artist. So easy is relative. And then once you get that mastered, then move on to the next thing. Set yourself a couple of short-term goals. Don't look 10 years ahead. Yes, you can have a long-term goal, but don't put yourself under the kind of pressure that will actually take away from your art. Art comes from the inside. It does. It comes from the inside. In my case, art comes from a place of happiness. There are some artists that their art comes from a place of melancholy. Everybody's different. A lot of artists will say that they produce their best work when they're angry, sad, crying, whatever the case may be. I produce my best work when I'm happy. It's just part of my DNA, I guess. And so don't put yourself under pressure to conform to any rules. Don't be who you think you should be. If you want to do this, then do it. Just pick up a pencil and a piece of paper, learn as much about that particular medium as possible, and start doing it. Put in the work, put in the hours. Who knows, you might have a latent talent that you didn't know you had. And there goes the dog again. If there's one thing that I want to say to you is desire. If you have the desire to do it, then do it. Don't let your preconceived ideas of whether or not you've got talent stop you. So my message here is, number one, don't let your preconceived ideas of whether or not you've got any talent stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. And number two, don't feel under pressure to achieve anything at this point. You're starting out. Don't feel that you need to be the next Van Gogh. You don't. You need to be the best artist that you can be if that's what it is that you want to do. Okay. So if anything else, just release yourself of the pressure of having to be perfect. I thank you very much for joining me on this little rant, and I encourage you to get involved, get your hands stuck in with a project and get started, and keep tabs of this 365-day video challenge. Your comments will be welcome, your constructive criticism will be welcome, even your unconstructive criticism will be welcome, because anything will help, just like Michelle did. She sent me a message and I thank her for that. And all your shares will be hugely valued. And go onto my YouTube channel please and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. That's what you want to do.